if we're constantly focused on getting 1% better, then the failure is not being 100% better every day. The failure is not continuing to improve by 1%. Because if you're here today and you want to make a change in your life, then being in the same place 3 months from now, that's the failure. Now, if you're 10% better, 30% better, 50% better, that's not a failure. But not having moved to get better and progress in that area that you want to improve, not what someone else says you need to improve upon, an area where you really, truly believe that your core, your identity is tied to this improvement. I want to read something to you here on page 41. So next week, we're going to get into chapter 2, how your habits shape your identity and vice versa. I love this chapter. I've been reading it or listening to it over and over and over. And we're not going to get into it today because it's just a lot of good stuff. But here's the question I have for you. Your identity, wait a minute, hold on one second. Ultimately, your habits matter because they help you become the type of person you wish to be, right? They are the channel. So your habits are the channel through which you develop your deepest beliefs about yourself. Your habits are the channel through which you develop your deepest beliefs about yourself. Quite literally, you become your habits. So again, I'll use myself as an example. I mean, certainly when I was younger and I worked out all the time, I was in great shape. But as I got older in my 30s and I didn't work out and I just kind of became sedentary and just focused on business, I've always said to myself, I'm not athletic. I'm not athletic. I'm big boned. I'm big boned, right? I'm not athletic. Well, that's a habit I've created that's a habit I have a habit of not putting myself out there in athletics or getting into shape or being strong, right? Being strong. And the only way that I feel like I'm really weak. I feel like my back is weak. My muscles are weak. And that's a belief I have about myself, that I'm just not strong. And I believe, because my mother's had 6 back surgeries and can barely walk, I believe I'm going to be her one day. Well, the reason I believe that is because I don't physically, or I do now, I haven't focused physically on being strong in my body. So a year from now, I should have a different belief about myself. I have a strong core. I'm strong. I'm athletic. I actually am turning into a pretty good golfer. So I actually am athletic. So Amanda says, I had to go ahead in the book, and this hit hard. It says, habits can help you achieve all of the things, but fundamentally, they are not about having something. They are about becoming someone. Oh my gosh. Amanda, let's talk about this. All right, you have to come off mute now. You're not allowed to stay on mute. Habits can help you achieve all things, but fundamentally, they are not about having something. They are about becoming someone. Tell us how that hit home for you.
Well, I mean, you can have everything, but if you don't feel it yourself, being the person you want to be, then does it really matter? I think that's where I'm at right now with, my business and myself personally.
Because your business is very successful, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are doing really well. And so now you're asking yourself different questions.
Correct.
About who you want to be, who you want to become.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that, Amanda. That's awesome.
I highlighted that in the book.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? as we reach, like you guys, Amanda, you and Mark have reached a pinnacle in your business, and now you have the opportunity to break through to another level. You must start asking yourself, who do I want to be at this next level? Who do I want to become? And what habits am I going to do to become that? And is it the trajectory I'm on, or is it something else? It's a beautiful thing. You get to choose. I love that. Thank you, Amanda. I love that. Dovile and then Matt.
You know what is beautiful about Amanda's business? We're so proud of you, Amanda, to start with. But, you know, I feel that you have all the cards in your hand, you know, right now to really shape yourself, you know, as a real estate professional, or, you know, as a business owner, as a family. You reached a point where you can shape, you know, who you want to be. And now is the time. And it's a beautiful time when you can, you know, hold your cards and play them the way you want to play them, which is awesome. And what you also said, what you know, the way I see it as well, you know, our calls in the morning with you, Becky, every morning, set our mindset for a day, right? You know, and I think if we listen one morning, it's important, but every morning, that's our 1% already there.
That's right.
And some. Look at the books that we had, you know, that we've read so far. What they said, you know, average one American reads a book a year, one book a year. Average CEO reads 66 books a year. You know, we somewhere in between with our reading, I believe. But
we are.
But you know what? That's becoming. And also, you know, what I've noticed, you know, my husband was coaching baseball team, and certainly, you know, like I became this coach behind the scenes. You know, I was telling my husband, how about this? And you maybe do this, and maybe you focus to one thing, and maybe this, maybe you implement the music. And I had all these different ideas. And now it's, you know, like I find myself a great baseball coach, which, you know, I don't even know all the rules, you know, however, but, you know, but why I'm saying it's who I'm becoming.
That's right.
Because all the books that I read, and I'm not saying I'm very wise or anything, the more you read, the more you, you know, participate, the more, you see that more and more you have there to learn. But still, we are becoming somebody that's role models for our kids, you know, and with our personal lives, with our friendships. That's all these morning calls with you, Becky, shape us, and that's our 1% and some.
That's great, Dovile. I love that. And thank you. You know, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yes, Amanda, Dee is wise. She is wise, and we love her. You know, here's the thing I'll tell you is that many of you have already created a habit that is defining you now because you're here every morning. And you may get into James Shaw every morning. Think about over 365 days. And I mean, we've been doing Limitless now really for a year, not at this level. We were just doing it really kind of in KW, but we've been doing it. And Dovile's right. We've read a ton of books. And here's the thing is that you are expanding your mind, and you are becoming a role model and a source of inspiration and wisdom to those around you. But here's the most important thing. You're beginning to model it for others. You're not just telling people what to do, you're modeling it. You're modeling it. And that's so important. That's why I know that every single person that shows up on this call 4 days a week can have any business that you want to have at any point in time. When you give that piece of your system and your business the attention that you give being on this call every morning, huge things will happen.